So I have some questions. So based on what we discussed, we have to identify our Daitya tendencies. You have to identify our Danava tendencies. We have to identify our Rakshasa tendencies, and overall Asura tendencies. Right? This is important because this is not a story that is in books. This is a story that is happening within us all the time, every moment, for everybody. That's why these are timeless texts. So if I am very concerned about my grades, my college seat, what tendency am I operating at?
Thank you.
Wait, hold on. Samri చెప్తున్నాను.
So what tendency is that?
I think it's either the Daityas or
Daitya.
the Danavas.
Yeah, Daitya. Danava is always body related. Always body related. Daitya is always mind related, but mental ego, me and mine, me and mine. That tendency is Daitya. But Rakshasa is all over the place, right? So if I am doing some good activity that is useful, it will actually help me at some point of time. But I am doing that activity, it consumes a lot of my time. What can you call that activity? Yaksha or Rakshasa? It's a useful activity.
Yaksha.
Yaksha. Why? Why do we call it Yaksha?
Because Rakshasas, they do unuseful things, things that won't help you.
They don't protect us.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yakshas, they might protect us. But they all consume resources. They all consume energy, consume time and everything. So eating bad food is mixed with two tendencies. Tell me what those two tendencies are. You want to say, Ridhima? Eating bad food, like sitting in the couch and eating lots and lots of potato chips.
Danava.
Danava, because that is body related. And then what else? The second tendency.
Rakshas.
Rakshasa, yeah, because it doesn't save, that activity doesn't save us, that doesn't help us in any way. Yeah, so like that we have to see certain tendencies within us. There are no Rakshasas outside, they are inside, Danavas inside. And now tell me, why Devas were suffering under the hands of Asuras?
Devas were suffering under the hands of the Asuras because they had lost. Yes, they were in a comfortable illusion for a lot of time, and then when they're dragged out of the house and thrown into the dark forest, they just don't know how to navigate because they need to light the torch.
They did not see the light through the rip.
Yeah, they did not. So, Durvasa, he created the rip for them out of their illusion. But they weren't able to use the rip to their advantage.
Yeah.
So, they
So,
were defeated.
I'll tell a small story. You know, in this story, this Shankaran Pillai lost a job. Right? So, some guy, he lost a job. But before he lost the job, he was laid off from the company. Before he was laid off, so he was every day going to the gym, doing the exercise and everything. Every weekend he goes to the temple, does a service there, and then also go to a playground and coach some kids how to play soccer and things like that, and then he would come back. Then this is the first time he was laid off, and then it really hurt him bad. It kind of challenged all his ideas and all his opinions. So for some time he was so dejected. He was not going to temple, doing any service there. He was not going and talking to the kids, not teaching them anything. He took off everything. He just sat in front of the TV. Initially, he tried to apply for jobs, but nothing is working. Market was bad. He was just got frustrated. He became depressed and watching TV for a long time and all that. So, what is happening there? Asuras beating the Devas, and Devas are not raising up. Now see the scenario. So this person now has lots of time, and he understood, he studied, okay, basically I did not have the right kind of skills to succeed in the job. So he's signed up for courses. And And he is doing everything as usual, going to the temple, doing the service, going to the soccer field, teaching the kids, going to the gym, exercising. He's maintaining all that stuff, going to neighbors, talking to them, very nice and friendly. But he signed up for few courses. And he also picked up Bhagavad Gita book and started studying. So, see the difference in these two situations? In one situation, he is doing everything as is, but then started to contemplate, go inward by opening Bhagavad Gita book. He is studying deeper. He is acquiring skills. He is taking care of everything. But he is asking serious questions by studying Bhagavad Gita, or maybe sitting in satsang like this. Or on the other hand, he was not doing any of those things, just wasting things away. So that is beating down by asuras. And the other thing is picking up the activity, a different activity, an enlightening activity like Bhagavad Gita, but managing everything properly. Right? So that is the difference. This kind of situation can arise to anybody. You can get bad grades. You can receive a bad blow. Maybe some friends were deceived you. Something can happen. Maybe you were under some illusion in school, but everything was busted out. All these things can happen. But what is the important thing here? If you don't know what to do, consult. But never go into negative mode or desperation, because that's when devas suffer a bad beating. They will not wake up. Devas are your positive tendencies, your good tendencies, your ability to rebound back and see clearly everything. Okay, now questions.
Can I request every kid to give an example where, something you did not like happened, and then how you reacted to it, and how you would have
Came out of it.
How you came out of it. Can you give us an example?
If you have an example, raise a hand. We can start. Yeah?
Ridhima.
So one time I was making an Easter card for one of our friends because they were coming. So I used tape on it because I was planning to do like one of those like geometric things where like you taped it and then you made like shapes and then you colored in the shapes and took off the tape. But I used the wrong kind of paper. So when I finished and I was taking off the tape, the paper like ripped. And then so basically what I did was for like a couple minutes I just like stopped and I just kind of gave up. But then I was like, wait, I really want to make this card for them. And I used alcohol markers and I folded the card, but I forgot to put something in between so it wouldn't bleed. So I cut like the paper in half, and then I used the other side that like it bleeded through. The marker bleeded through, so I just colored over the part that the marker bled through, and then I just made like a new card and gave it to them.
Okay, yeah, that's a good small scale example, but we want to extend it to a bigger level, that you were believing in something, but your belief was hurt and damaged. Anything like that? Anybody? Even adults, yeah?
So I would say around in September or early August, I was in 9th grade. I was just so attuned to getting everything as an A+. I would not have to study everything, and every single bit of information would just make its way into my mind. Suddenly, then I came across AP World History, perhaps the most difficult class that I've taken in my life. So when I took the first quiz, there was this very large excerpt. I didn't read it, and I just, out of my knowledge, I just boxed in an answer and submitted it. 10 out of 12. Not a good score. And then the next one, I got a 14 out of 20. 70%.
You don't have to give your score. You could just say you got a bad score.
So, like that, then I was shocked. What is this? And then eventually it started to get worse scores. I started to study more and study more and study more, and for that, like what, 5 months I went on all over the place. twice. And then after those 5 months were over, in April, things started to settle down. And then when the final exam came for that course, it went perfectly clean. Very easy and very simple.
So what we want to know is what was the Asura Daitya Danava Rakshasa tendency you were kind of trapped into, how you came out of it.
So the Asura, the Daitya tendency here is that I always want to get a perfect score. It's always focused on only getting a perfect score, such that I took myself to tremendous stress and I never even looked into what the real problem was.
And
Okay.
then how did you come out of it?
When I started to forget about the score and give myself a break for some time from all of the stress, and then when I went into a more relaxed setting, then I started to learn that it was because I simply did not annotate the excerpts. I did not understand them sufficiently, which eventually led to confusion.
But how do you know that you have to stop worrying about the scores?
Because the more you worry about the scores, the lesser
Is
your
that some
focus.
discovery that you made by yourself, or was it through counsel?
It
by-
was
By guidance?
It was through general counsel and some general facts that had already been induced into my mind several years earlier by adults.
Okay. Yeah.
So there was this illusion last year. I was in the best school in the world, Jefferson. Like, in the beginning of the school year, the principal literally ordered, what do you call this again? Shaved ice for us, every single student. And we could get as many toppings as we wanted. But the only thing was that I never had straight A's. So that's what I'm thinking. Maybe that was the illusion. That the school was so awesome that I had to enjoy every single thing in it. But I never had any time to study because of that. But this year, this Coral Hollow school, every single day I find a fault with the school. Every single day. The only thing that's good in the school is the learning. So that's my Durvasa. He tore open the illusion, and now I have all A's. Principal honor roll 3 trimesters in a row.
Wow. Good.
Nice, because you gave the Durvasa example.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, Durvasa plays much deeply. It really challenges all the worldview, and it will turn the worldview upside down, the entire world upside down. But how we react in those situations is determined by whether we are asuras or we are devas. Sami, you have any example?
Probably when like the start of the school year, I really wanted to make the Science Olympiad team. So when I tried for that, I made the second team when all of my friends made the first one. So I feel like then I was really upset. So maybe probably the Asura tendency was playing on me because I had like a lot of negativity in me. So probably when the competition day came, like there was like just a lot of negativity because a lot of people, they kept on getting the awards, then when I only kept on getting the ribbons. So I think I probably overcame it when I realized that there's always next year for it, and I did better than I thought I'd do.
Yeah, definitely. So if you can tackle, even simply handle the Asura's attack and prevail, then that itself is a benefit, a learning from when Durvasa opens up. So, okay, can anybody summarize what the Durvasa tendency is? What is Durvasa? You guys are, we are understood very well, so I want somebody else. Ridhima, you want to try, or anybody else?
Like a Durvasa tendency is like when you think like it's like an illusion, and like you think like this, but then like Durvasa like rips open like the fabric, and then you see like the truth, like the reality of it.
Yeah, but if somebody, it's same thing happened for somebody, but they did not see the light. They only saw negativity. Would you call that Durvasa? Not at all. So this is important. Yeah.
So with all this, it seems like we ourselves are Durvasa, because the tendencies, the asuras, the danavas, the rakshasas is all within us. So, and again, when we say that we see something, is at times we are allowing the danavas, daityas, asuras, rakshasas to overpower the our own danavas, what is the other thing? Not danavas, what is
Overall asuras, daitya, danava, rakshasa, asura.
yeah, so all of these devas are also within us, right? So devas are the good, whatever good we are saying. So so deva, dhatu, deva, danava, daitya, rakshasa, asura, everything is there. So I become a durvasa when I am allowing the this thing, the devas.
No. Durvasa is something that is happening outside our control. It's not within our control. But devas and all asuras, all groups of asuras are within us. And how we receive what happens to us from outside, external,
Okay.
suddenly external something changed. Big loss, big suffering.
So Durvasa is an event that happens outside.
An event that happened outside. And how we react to that event is very important. If we react to that event and if we let ourselves fall down, if we let our devas fail
Correct.
in the hands of the asuras within us, then it's a problem. But if we can side with our devas, go with positive attitude, try to get counsel and understand how we can deal with this, then we are going in the right direction. And you will find an important but a very shocking truth in the next session. So when they go to Lord Narayana, he says, make friends with asuras. They are the enemies, but he says, make friends with asuras. We'll see how that works, how we have to make...
Like use the asuras to your advantage.
Exactly.
So in a way, it seems to me like this fighting between the devas and the danavas, it happens every day, right?
Every
when
day.
I'm sleeping on my bed, if I don't feel to wake up, I'm allowing my one of the rakshasas or danava tendency
Danavas.
to overpower.
Yeah.
Danava tendency to overpower.
Yeah.
So that happens like in each moment of our lives in a way, if you see. So then in that case, the manthan is happening every minute of my day.
Every minute, exactly. The Shirsagar Madhanam is happening within the life. And Deva Danavas, they're very real. They're within us.
They are our tendencies,
Yeah.
Will Daityas and Danavas ever fight?
Rarely, but they're natural friends. As I said, natural friends are Rakshasas, Daityas,
Daityas,
Danavas,
Asuras.
and they do fight. For example, a Daitya, Prahlada, right? So he vanquished a lot of enemies, but eventually he stopped. Yeah.
He actually led.
Yeah.
No, not in that way. Again, that is Bahyam, right? See, in the Antara, Daitya Danava can fight. I feel like the reason is
That's what Prahlada I'm telling about, the story, right? We talked about Prahlada. So Prahlada is what? Anybody remember Prahlada? Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ahlada,
Yeah, starting from Halada, Halada,
Simhika.
Anuhlada, Samhalada,
Simhika,
Prahlada.
Prahlada.
Correct. Okay. And so what is the meaning of Prahlada? And how is he a natural enemy of Danavas? Can anybody tell? Yeah.
Prahlada means like finds happiness in everything, and Daityas,
Daityas are naturally me and mine tendencies.
yeah.
So rest of the brothers, Halada, Anuhlada, Samhalada. Do you remember what they represent? Can you give an
Yeah.
example?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Nidhima? Halada, Anuhlada, Samhalada? Little bit. So you give an example and see if we can recall that.
Lada is like you think of something
Something that you like.
and then you feel happy.
Yeah, that is
And then-
Halada.
And then Anuhlada is like it's there for you and you're happy.
Yeah.
Like something that you like is there for you and you're happy. Samhava, it's like it's like you're
You have
you're
taken it.
enjoying it. You have taken it, and then you're happy.
Yeah.
And Prahlada is that you're always happy. You don't find fault in anything.
Exactly. Not necessarily.
No, not necessarily fault.
Not finding
You're happy
fault.
with everything.
Happy generally with everything.
Correct.
And who is Simhika?
Asuras.
Torturer.
Yeah.
If you don't get something, torturing it.
Yeah.
So making friends with asuras essentially means accepting that, hey,
That
yes,
they have needs.
I have this asura tendency and I need to fulfill this need in a most sattvic way.
Yeah. For example, as uncle pointed out, like it's a time to wake up, but you feel sleep, you don't want to wake up, you're lazy. Then that is danava. But sleep itself is bodily related. You need to have good 8 hours of sleep. So that means you are making friend with that danava and using it rightly. If you oversleep, then danava has overpowered you. If you sleep right amount, you have used danava as per the need. Similarly, food. Yeah, when you are hungry, you have to eat. Otherwise, you will become very weak and tired. So therefore, you eat right amount of food. That means you are using danava as your ally, but you will never let danava overpower you. So that's the key. That's the same way you will never let your fears and your desires overpower you. That means you are keeping daityas at a check. So similarly, rakshasas, you will never use rakshasas overpower you. Rakshasas are very useful too sometimes, but then they will be yakshas. Anyway, any other questions? Anybody? So, adults, anybody? Any questions? You have a question?
Yeah, this might be a very silly question, but does Durvasa actually wear tattered clothes?
Why does he actually wear
Like,
tattered?
does he actually wear tattered clothes?
That's how it is personified, symbolized.
Oh, okay.
So his clothes are totally worn out and ripped. That's why he was called Durvasa all the time.
Can you tell the story of Durvasa's birth? How did he come into existence?
Yeah. So Durvasa is basically Lord Shiva's manifestation. So the Atri and Anasuya were there. Right? Anybody remember? Anybody heard the name Atri, Anasuya? You heard, yeah? Let's see if we can deduce the meaning of Atri, Anasuya. Okay? So can anybody try to crack at what Atri could mean? We are breaking down the words and understanding the meaning.
Like, the could mean not,
Opposite, yeah?
opposite.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what 3 means though.
3 means number 3.
Oh, 3 really? Oh, okay.
The English 3 is derived from Sanskrit 3.
So not 3.
So it doesn't have 3 things, not bound by 3 things. What could be those 3 things?
Please, a very
Sattva, Rajas, Tamas.
Yes, that's what I said.
There you go. Yeah? And now let us talk about Anasuya. Can anybody crack that?
Asuya.
Yeah?
Do you want to say something?
No, it's okay, you can say.
No, you say it first. No,
Okay,
go ahead.
yeah, I don't think that would fit here.
Opposite of Asuya.
Yes.
So we have the word the prefix un in English. Uninhabited, unhygienic.
Opposite.
Yeah, that un is again borrowed from Sanskrit. So
opposite?
Opposite of Asuya. Anybody know what Asuya is?
Jealousy.
You too. Anybody know what Asuya is?
Maybe others.
Sanskrit word Asuya. Asuya means a lot of times we translate it as envy, jealousy, etc. But actual meaning of Asuya in Sanskrit is seeing faults when there were none. Finding faults when there were none.
Very complicated.
Yeah, a kind of always negative outlook.
Oh, yeah. Negative.
Say somebody is punctual.
So non-negative.
Yeah, you can think of it that way.
Right now.
So Asuya is basically, let us say somebody is very punctual. They arrive exactly on time, maybe 5 minutes early. Somebody says that these people have nothing to do at home, therefore they come always 5 minutes before. Why do they have to come that early? Come 20 minutes late, like see, we're all coming 20 minutes after. That's what happens in a lot of Indian parties, right? If you go early, then you will be criticized for being there punctually on time. We have to follow Indian standard time. But anyway, I'm just joking that. But sometimes when you find frugal people, it is frugality. They are not wasteful. But some people criticize them for being frugal. They say that these people are miserly. So seeing miserliness in frugality is asuya. Seeing idleness when they are punctual is asuya. So like that, when good things are being told, are done, you find faults in those, that is asuya. Anasuya means somebody who does not have that type of problem. So Anasuya is Atri's wife. What does that mean? It's a tendency that always follows Atri. When you're free from Sattva Rajas Tama Guna's binding nature, then you will not have this problem. And their children, like Lord Brahma was born as Chandra, moon, and Lord Vishnu was born as Dattatreya with him, and Lord Shiva was born as Durvasa. So that's how these three came. So they manifested Atri and Anasuya that way. So we can go much deeper into the story later.
That's why in astrology they say moon is the creating nature, mother nature. So now it makes sense. He's like Amsha of Brahma.
And Chandra is also the rasam in all Oshadhis. In every food that we eat, the essence of the food is moon.
How important the natural satellite of Earth is.
Yeah. Amazing. So because Chandra, the word Chandra is derived from the root word Chadi, means ahlada. So if you eat a nice tasty mango, when you enjoy that essence, you leave a feeling behind, right? A satisfied feeling. That is ahlada. That is a manifestation of Chandra.
I have a question, maybe to Krishna. So, did moon come first before life starting on Earth? Do you know?
So about 4.5 billion. Actually, yes, the moon came before Earth. If such a colossal impact happened with the Earth, then life would be extinguished in a second.
Yeah.
It came.
So moon came before the Earth.
No, it
Before
no,
the
no.
life.
So
Before
people
the
say
life.
that an asteroid
No, no, no.
that hit the Earth and
It was a Mars-sized protoplanet that hit the Earth, and then they went into a drastic collision, and then the Earth grew much larger, while a small portion of the original planet went into orbit. It became rings around Earth for a long time, and then it eventually compacted into the moon.
Wow.
About 4.5 billion years ago.
And then life started.
Life started much later.
So life started between the gravitational pull of sun and moon and maybe Jupiter and other planets like happening.
so because of the moon,
maybe
basically
not.
Earth started. Maybe.
But no,
Because
no.
of the moon's gravitational.
Life started simply because there was water on Earth, and water on Earth came from comets from the.
No, just
The
water on
planet.
Earth is not sufficient. Just having water and some organic molecules is not sufficient to start life.
Actually, yes, the moon kind of slowed down the Earth's rotation to about 24 hours from 8 hours, and then much longer periods of sunlight allowed
Things
complex
to flourish.
organisms to form. I mean, not, cells to form.
Microorganisms.
Yeah, microorganisms, the microbiome.
Wow.
See how astrology is developed. Astrology is such an intriguing science.
So that's why I said, right?
Yeah.
Because before the life began on Earth as a single cell, all these cycles were there to some level. All these rhythms of gravitational rhythms, gravitational pull and light, rhythms of light like lunar light, solar light, all these things. So they are part of our genome. Like even if we don't see sunlight for a long time, even if we don't see moon throughout our lifetime, still these cycles will run. The lunar cycles in females, they will run, and the solar cycles are part of the circadian rhythm, is part of us, and all the ultradian rhythms. We talked about lots of ultradian rhythms, right? So that's why I always tell, we have to always align our rhythm with the rhythms in the nature. When you do that, what happens? Your progress will be rapid, quicker. But if we completely set our rhythms opposite, like for example, if we stay up all night and sleep all day, what happens? Within 10 years, our health will be disastrous.
You know, in India, previously, before the dollar boom started, yeah, there was definitely unemployment and all these things. But then there was no obese problems. There were no, eating junk food, these clubs and nightclubs and all these problems in India. It is when the dollar boom started, when people started outsourcing jobs from US to India, that is when people started waking up at night, working a lot at night and sleeping in the morning. So that created so much of disturbance in Indian, lifestyle. It started with obesity, then eating junk food. Then slowly the nightclubs and all these things started, and then we are totally messed up. Minds are messed up now because of all of that. And then when minds are messed up, slowly the divorce rate increased, and kids started having a lot of mental problems, mental challenges like autism, ADHD, and all kinds of things, the bipolar, all kinds of things. And therapists and everybody started, see how it took the butterfly effect, from US to India.
Yeah. Last time we talked about Aditya Hridayam. How many times do we have to remind ourselves about the all-pervasive nature of sun? Do you remember? Morning, afternoon, evening,
Three times.
3 times. So 3 sandhyas we talked about as a transition between sleep state to wakeful state, activity up to activity down state, and then wakeful state to sleep state. So 3 transitions, they're called 3 sandhis. So this is the time that we really have to sync ourselves with the natural cycles. When you sync yourselves with the natural cycles, like food habits, waking habits, sleeping habits, if you can sync all these things perfectly with natural cycles, then it's a smooth, well-oiled machine. Works so well. Mind, body works so well. Okay, so I think we went, pretty good. You can stop.